This classic episode of the Electric Playground is brought to you by P&P Games, your source for everything video games. Support the partners that support Electric Playground. Remember, this episode first aired in 2002. Today on Electric Playground, we take a look at Resident Evil 0 for the GameCube, Shinobi for PlayStation 2, Freaky Flyers for the Xbox, and Tommy and I review games from the Urban Waterfall.
Kind of hard to believe, but the plane racing sequences in Diddy Kong Racing for the N64 have never really had a decent competitor. Well, things look like they're about to change with Midway's Freaky Flyers. Check this out.
Hey, I'm with Cory Jones from Midway, and we're talking about a game that interests me a lot. It's called Freaky Flyers. Now, Cory, I'm a huge fan of Diddy Kong Racing. I love Diddy Kong Racing.
Great.
Is this what this game is kind of like?
Well, what they've done is they've reinvented the kart racing genre by bringing it into the air and making it into a adventure racing title. If you could imagine a Diddy Kong Racing with a fully explorable 3D world, ambient weapons, 13 characters, and what you're doing in an adventure racing title is you're going around the track, triggering off different events that changes it the next time you go around. The humor in the game is top notch. They had one of the writers from The Tick doing the script for the game, so it's really a kick in the pants.
What about the power-ups and characters and stuff like that? What are we talking in this game?
Unlike a lot of the other kart racers, you have ambient weaponry, which means you have a machine gun at all times, so there's a lot of action when you're flying around, which makes it a lot of fun.
Right.
But there's also power-ups from parachute bombs, smoke trails. You've got all kinds of power-ups. It's great.
How high can you fly? Because I played sort of flying type racing games. Can you go way high?
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the great things about it is a real sense of vertigo. So as like you're in the Chicago level and there's all these buildings, you're flying up high, fighting against the blimps, and you'll zoom power dive down into the city, and there's actually street traffic and guys firing up at you from their cars, gangsters.
Wow.
So it's amazing. You have different levels of play. Or you're flying in through a window in one of the buildings, and like there's a couple fighting, and you'll help the wife out by blowing away the husband, and then your next time around, she's actually helping you out as you're flying around. So that's what adventure racing means. And you actually unlock each of the other characters as you progress through the title.
Is there a 4-player game in here?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also mini games. So there's dog fighting. There's a bandito attack. Banditos, all these little guys attacking a big fort, and you have to blow them away and get reinforcements. So there's tons of mini games.
What kinds of worlds are we talking about in Freaky Flyers? Where are we going to be freaky flying?
There's an amazing variety of tracks, each of them with a million little details, and you won't even notice them the first time around. You'll end up racing and wanting to stop in the middle of the race to check everything out and losing the game. We got a Coyote Canyon, Danger Isle, Haunted Mansion. One of the races actually takes place inside the human body, and you come in through the nose and go through the intestines.
That's really gross.
You have to imagine where you leave from, but...
You ever play video games?
Yes, but nothing that beyond 1975. It kind of ended at Ms. Pac-Man.
Do you have any interest in maybe creating a video game that you could be a star of, or what kind of game would you want to make?
I think, the bloodier, the better. Games should be super violent. I think that's what the kids want and deserve,
A lot of movies have been based on video games.
I'm waiting for the Donkey Kong feature film.
There you go.
Starring John Goodman as Donkey Kong.
Standard attention, Rainbow Six Raven Shield is coming right up.
Is it possible to love Power Stone but hate Super Smash Brothers? Well, Vic and Tommy seem to think so. I left the Dreamcast on the set date screen. You know what? Come with me. Come on. Now, as Lee from P&P Games, I know I might be the outlier here, but do you also keep your old video game consoles hooked up indefinitely? Whether you traded in your PlayStation 1 and N64 for a GameCube and PS2 or ditched your Sega Dreamcast for an Xbox or PC, won't you miss having access to those video game libraries? 10 out of 10 Game of the Year Sonic Adventure 2 already made its way to the GameCube in the form of battle. Squaresoft didn't even wait a full generation to give us Final Fantasy 1, 2, 4, 6, and Chrono Trigger on a PlayStation 1 disc, but I'm not worried about the storied franchises and powerhouse intellectual properties. As the generations compound, we're going to have more and more games caught behind console-walled gardens or licensing nonsense. The conversation about the games that padded the generation and filled our shelves is going to shrink exponentially. The video game industry is always driving us to what's next, keeping us on the cutting edge, quick to dismiss what's come before for fear of missing out on what's still to come. Unless, of course, dusting off a re-release can turn a quick profit. That's how it feels in 2002, anyhow. Play forever.
One of my favorite arcade games from the 80s was a game called Shinobi. Well, Shinobi's back, so you better watch yours. Man, where'd I put those throwing stars? That's it. No. No. Oh, here they are.
Hey, I'm with Bryce Baer from SEGA of America, and we're talking about Shinobi. Now, Shinobi is back. He's here at the SEGA booth, and I want to know what's new, what's different, what's changed, what's happening with Shinobi.
All right, well, the first thing you'll notice about Shinobi is it's obviously 3D.
Yes.
So taking the 2D side scroller and giving it a whole new dimension. They've spared no expense in really making this game as beautiful and stunning as they possibly can on PlayStation 2.
Right.
It's everything from a flowing scarf that follows his every move to a stealth dash where he can actually move faster than his enemies can see him, leaves a ghost image. You'll see Shinobi running on walls, using ninja magic, and just really, the game just oozes with style.
Now, is it just the bladed weapon that you're going to get through the game, or does he have shurikens and some other kinds of little secret ninja attack things?
Yeah, well, right now, the primary weapon is the sword.
Right.
But he also does have shurikens that can be used to stun the enemy like in the original game.
Right.
Also, ninja magic.
Where is the game set? What time period? What kinds of locations are we going to see? What's the background like?
It's a post-apocalyptic Tokyo following an earthquake. Present day, but a little bit in the future.
That rattles off your tongue so easily. It's a post-apocalyptic Tokyo. I can't even say that, man.
Yeah, but it's like the original Shinobi games. We're going to go across a lot of environments. You're going to see a lot of really neat stuff. Everything from completely vertical skyscraper levels to dense city levels on fire to more mystic, creepy temple covered in smoke, stuff like that.
What about the attack style in the game?
As leader of the Oboro clan, you're given Akujiki, which is a cursed blade that just hungers for death. And if you do not feed the sword, it feeds on you. So you start to lose life. So you're constantly driven to action. But the way the combat works is, as you chain together kills against the enemies, your sword powers up in increments. So it's one kill, it's twice as powerful, 2, 3 times, on and on down the line. Also, as a special reward for chaining together more than 4 kills, it goes to a tate, which is a small cinematic that shows. If you've ever seen an old samurai movie where he just moves so fast you can't see where he goes, and then all of a sudden all the guys just fall to pieces, and it happened like in the blink of an eye. And this is really what goes on here. It's a nice cut scene where the people just literally fall to pieces as he stands there and coolly sheaths his sword.
Cannot wait to play this game. Shinobi on the PlayStation 2. SEGA pulls out another surprise at E3. Thanks, Bryce.
No problem.
When do I get my copy?
We'll see.
When do I get it?
Fall.
When are you going to send it to me?
This fall.
I want it right away, please. I'm with Mathieu Ferland, who is the senior producer for Rainbow Six Raven Shield. What are we doing in Raven Shield that we haven't done before?
There's now this fluid peek and crouch that you can do. Usually there was the peek, the crouch, the peek on both sides and the crouch.
Right.
Now you can control fluidly your movement to aim on a specific crack in a wall, that kind of gameplay.
So you don't have to go all the way out and all the way back. You can
go in between.
Okay.
Another thing which is really realistic in terms of counter-terrorism is when you're entering a room, you can open doors and windows progressively. So you're using your mouse wheel. You can see what's in there without attracting the terrorists and lose your mission.
That's awesome. So you don't have to blast open the doors and start firing at everybody.
Exactly. You can do it. You can still do it.
You can still do that.
We want to keep all the classic Rainbow Six mechanics. So if you liked it before, fine. You're gonna play it and you're gonna enjoy it. But if you want a new experience, you want to try new stuff, then you're on it.
We looked at all the existing weapons that were in Rainbow Six all the way through Blackthorn, which was done here. And we decided to try to fill some holes and some gaps and to add a few new things. And by doing that, we got some of the latest research, some off the internet, got some books, talked to operators about what they like to use, what are the bad guys using. And then we go into tactics and things like that, formations, how people react, how do rainbow and intervention teams move. We tried to add in all of that along with the terrorists and the rainbows and the hostages in our game now all want to live, so they don't come at you wide open with no chance of escape. They're thinking all the time.
Now you guys have worked with a technical advisor, Mike Grasso?
That's it.
Yeah, and he's worked in different movies in the past. What's it like working with this guy?
He has 22 years of duty in the LAPD. He worked 18 years in the movie industry as a technical advisor for those choreography and those interventions. He's teaching us some little details that we thought it was obvious, but after his his input, we were like, okay, that's not obvious at all. I mean, we need to have that in our games.
I've been a police officer in Los Angeles for 22 years. I've worked assignments from anywhere from undercover narcotics to crash, homicide investigations, warrant entry teams. I'm currently assigned to the tactics unit as a senior instructor. One of the things that I always say is you gauge the danger you're in by the intelligence of your enemies. In the new game, you're in a lot of danger.
So when people take a look at some of the gameplay of Rainbow Six, they're going to think, well, it's just another first-person shooter. But it really isn't, is it?
What we're more tactic. So you gotta plan your mission before you get in, or otherwise there's no way you're gonna get out of there.
Don't go anywhere. Resident Evil 0 is coming up next.
Well, it's past and present games based in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. We carry games, accessories, consoles, and merch from all eras. Shop pvgamesonline.com and support us as we support the Electric Playground. And play forever.
If you thought Resident Evil for the GameCube was a great-looking game, why do you feast your eyes on Resident Evil 0? Maybe feast isn't the appropriate word.
We're here with Matt from Capcom talking about Resident Evil 0. Tell me what we're going to be expecting with the new game.
In this game, you've got to control two characters simultaneously. Rebecca is known for her pharmaceutical work, and Billy's sort of the tough, rugged individual. You're controlling them both simultaneously. You can switch between the two of them on the fly by pressing a button. But if one of your characters dies, whether they're together or not, your game is over. You're going to find out a lot of why Resident Evil 1 took place. What it does is the basic story leads you up right to the events in Resident Evil 1. So you're going to find out sort of how everything started, how everything took place. So that's the goal. By the time you're done with this, you're going to know a lot more about Resident Evil.
Tell me about the weapons we can expect to see in Resident Evil 0.
Well, Resident Evil 0's got a lot of the classic Resident Evil-esque weapons. But the difference is the focus is, again, far more on survival. Not only are you going to use your weapons, you're going to need to use your brain to escape. Running is always the key in Resident Evil, and it's no different. There's a lot of zombies.
Then tell me a little bit about the controls, because I know one frustrating thing is when you have clumsy controls in the environment.
Right.
How do you work on the controls this time?
Well, it's one of the things we're showcasing here at E3 is a control scheme. Now, what we've done is you can switch characters on the fly, you can spin 180, you can run and evade like you've always been able to. So what we've made is the controls a lot more user-friendly. You can act quickly when you need to.
So will this game look better than the last one?
Well, it's really hard to achieve that, but I will tell you, I can safely say yes. Why it looks better is because now the game takes place a lot on a train, and every little piece of that scenery is moving like if you were on a train. So look at a tablecloth, look at a frying pan, you're going to see smoke rising and bubbles. There's so much going on in the environments that make this game such a richer, more solid experience. It's really adding to the overall feel of the world.
And you'll have sound to match?
Oh, Resident Evil's always known for its sound, but be careful, the sounds just don't slowly come on, they'll jump out at you, just like everything in the game.
Just like everything in this game.
Everything in the Resident Evil.
Scary.
Resident Evil.
Well, Xbox Live is coming out on November 15th this year, and really what that is going to provide is allowing anybody who has an Xbox to play anybody else on the planet with an Xbox. Ultimately, you're going to get a gamer tag, so that's your ID. And when you go online, you're going to be able to build your legend playing amongst any of the Xbox Live titles. So whether you're playing Mech Assault, NFL Fever, that same common name is going to be who you're going to be. On November 15th, when gamers buy Xbox Live for $79.95, they get a headset that's going to allow you to actually speak online. So you're actually communicating just like you would sitting next to somebody. In addition to that, you're also going to get 2 games. As well, it's a year subscription. So what that means is that when you take it home, you hook your Xbox up to broadband, you're going to have the ability to have the Xbox Live service for a period of an entire year. Let's say you and I are playing in a game of Unreal. We can be pinged by another buddy of ours who happens to be playing Mech Assault, having a great game, wants us to come join him, and literally we can go from playing one game into the other game simultaneously. And so really it becomes a great experience, and it's more like creating the virtual couch. So if you can think about the best times you've ever had playing games, for me, it's when a bunch of buddies come over, we're playing a new game, trying something out. We're trying to create that type of an atmosphere, except virtually. And for me, you know, I play from 12 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the morning. Man, it's tough to have friends coming over. So this way, it's a great opportunity to play people around the world and have that same social interaction.
First game we're going to talk about is Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube from Rare and Nintendo. What'd you think?
I'll be the first to say that, you know, I didn't really like any of the other Star Fox games on the Super Nintendo and N64.
Oh, man.
I didn't like them.
Those are awesome games.
Flying games. Who cares, right? Even if you didn't like the other games,
yeah, you're going to
love this game.
Well, it's probably because this game really doesn't share a lot of same design elements as the previous two.
You're looking for the Queen Earthwalker. Try talking to those Thorntail guys.
There's so many unique elements of the gameplay, from fighting to searching and to flying to different little puzzles.
You've got all kinds of worlds to explore. Lots of cool characters. Star Fox has got a new sort of rendered fur look going on. There's dinosaurs that you can talk to. He can actually jump onto a dinosaur and start riding around.
The thing that really draws me in, though, is the storytelling and the rich content. I like the voice acting. I thought the music was unbelievably
really
awesome,
good.
And the
really
sound
good.
effects were really intricate.
It shows what the GameCube is capable of.
It really does.
And what's interesting is that this game actually started on the N64 and midway through was ported to the GameCube, but you can't really tell that.
No,
I mean,
not at all.
Some of the textures on some of the characters and backgrounds look a little bit watered down for the GameCube, but then there's been like a layer of reflective mapping and beautiful lighting added to it, so everything is gorgeous.
And this is exactly why I get upset at games like Animal Crossing, because I know what it's capable of doing. The great thing is the environments too. When you're in a castle, it's a beautiful castle.
The water
when you're
is beautiful.
When you're in the forest or whatever on land, it looks great. If you're in a pirate ship, it looks great.
It's very fluid, very fast, and the camera is automatically precise. You know, you wish that you had a little bit more sort of manual control over the camera, but for the most part, I'd say this is like 90% there.
I like how it assumes some of the control, similar to a game like Eco.
Right.
You go up to something, it kind of lifts you up. You don't have to climb and do all this stuff. It actually does it for you.
I had a lot of fun playing this game. It was very, very good. I missed the multiplayer, though. Rare's great at giving you multiplayer games, and there's no multiplayer in this one. But I'm going to give this game an 8.5 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 9.
That's good. Wow. Let's talk about Robot Alchemic Drive for the PlayStation 2. This is a very strange and unique take on the mech fighting genre.
To me, this is one of my favorite mech games
because
you really get a sense of the mass destruction and the way the ground shakes.
The robot is controlled as if you had like a remote control device in your hand.
Right.
So both of the thumbsticks are actually the robot's arms.
That was one of my favorite parts of this game.
You press down on the thumbsticks and the hands will change, and all of a sudden you'll have like a flamethrower and a drill. You move with the D-pad and you can fire rockets and missiles. They actually have you play as the human character in the game, and the game is played through his perspective, which means in order to beat the game, you have to strategically place the human in a vantage point where he can see what the mech is doing.
Which I personally hated, by the way.
No, it's cool. It's a totally unique idea. And I applaud that. This is a unique
I'm saying,
experience.
okay, fine. They could do that, but they should have at least one camera angle where you can get up kind of behind the mech like all the other mech games.
Right.
Boom.
I even like the cheesy, the BNN newscasts that are out there.
This is the worst voiceover you have ever heard in a game, the worst dialogue.
It's very funny.
The presentation of this game is horrible.
It's not horrible.
It's not horrible.
You're telling it's not. It's funny.
Please play a clip right now. Go ahead, play a clip. Go.
It is in this battle that the true effectiveness of the JSDF will be determined. Oh, a new vessel has arrived. It appears to be Koga, the Fudo-class cruiser.
Was that horrible or not?
That was funny.
That was not funny.
Okay, listen,
that was bad.
If you're going to play a clip from a Godzilla movie, that's going to look bad out of context.
Yeah, because Godzilla movies are horrible too.
They're not. They're fun. That's their own style. They're fun. It's goofy, silly fun. That's what this game is.
No, the cinematics were not intended to be goofy or funny. They were serious and they're pathetic.
They weren't serious with those.
Pathetic.
There's no way they were serious.
What do you give this pile of crap?
I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 7 as well.
You called it a pile of crap.
No, I didn't.
You just did.
No.
What do you... How can you say the game's horrible, you're going to give it a 7?
I didn't say the game's horrible. I said the presentation and voiceovers are horrible.
Right.
And the fact that you always have to control the mech from the boy
I'm surprised you didn't
bad.
give it a 9.
No, it's a 7.
There's a lot more reviews in the run coming up right after this.
Lee from P&P Games here. Imagine my shock when I discovered my treasured copy of Strider for the Sega Genesis was missing its instruction manual. P&P Games had my back. Your source for everything video games. Past and present game stocks not only the latest and hottest console video games and accessories, but also cases and manuals, a la carte, and other merchant goodies to make your collection more complete. Visit our 3 retail store locations in Winnipeg, Manitoba, or support us online at pnpgamesonline.com, where we support the Electric Playground. Thank you for taking the time every Saturday morning to watch EP Classic with us. Now, let's get you back to the show. Play forever!
We're switching gears now. We're going to talk about NASCAR Thunder 2003 for the Xbox.
The amount of detail and the amount of extras in this game is so phenomenal. NASCAR freaks are going to, well, freak out.
The quick race is really just exactly that. You jump in, you're having a good time right away. And they've added a whole kind of scenario mode where the drivers pop up and they give sort of their anecdote about what happened in the race, and then they say, okay, we challenge you to beat the game the way that I beat the real life race.
Got this thing called Thunder License where they teach you how to drive a car on the track.
Because these systems now are so powerful, you can actually have the 40 race car drivers out on the track at the same time, and you really have to get into that pack racing mentality. And thankfully, the physics in the game are forgiving enough that you can hit the wall or hit another racer and you're not totaled. But if you get that solid smack, then the flames pop out and the smoke goes and cars flip and fly.
My favorite thing, of course, is turning around 180 degrees and heading straight for the traffic.
Tommy's traffic
complete
school.
As much havoc as possible on the track.
Right. I was really surprised to see all of the different licensed stuff that's in this game. Hats off to the legal department at EA, man. They got to go chase after 1 million logos.
I love the sound effects, though, in this game.
Sounds great.
They're incredibly well done. You can hear the wind flapping. It's unbelievable sound effect.
The visuals overall, they're actually quite good. I was surprised to see a little bit of aliasing on the cars and on some of the background stuff, especially when you've got
the Xbox. What really bothered me, though, is that you can't control the pit stop in this game. The pits are such an important part of the NASCAR.
And in the multiplayer game, you don't even get to see the pit crew. The other thing about multiplayer is the fact that it is all split screen. This is a great sport for bringing a community together, and they really could have taken advantage of that this year. Even still, like this game a lot. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10.
I'm giving it an 8.
The last game we're going to talk about today is The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings from Vivendi Universal.
This one follows the book, not the movie.
That's right.
EA is doing the movie one.
This game's more of an action-adventure in the vein of a Zelda, where you're cruising around, you've got all these little objectives to do and things to check off, your little journalist there.
I thought the music was done incredibly well. You really get a sense of being in Middle-earth.
The voice acting's really good, and it follows the storyline in the novel perfectly, so all those little tiny characters that you read about suddenly spring to life, and they give you objectives and things that follow along in the story quite well.
You can play 3 of the 9 characters from the Fellowship.
That's right.
You can play Aragorn, who's my favorite guy, the fighter.
Right.
And you can actually use a sword or a bow and arrow. You have Gandalf the magician, of course, and he does all these cool magic awesome effects.
Yes.
And then you can also play Frodo. You can put the ring on and become invisible like the thing.
But you don't want to put the ring on too much because that will corrupt you and turn you over to the shadow realm, and then that's it. You're done. The ring wraiths in this game really freaked me out. I was, most of the game characters are a little bit cartoony, and then you see these ring wraiths, and they're dark as night, and they're evil, man. They really look creepy. Thought the environments in the game were very cool, too. Lots of nice use of lighting and colors all over the place.
The Shire didn't look as green as it should have been.
Could have been a little bit greener. I like the water, though. I like the bump mapping and reflection on the water. But this brings up a point that I can't stand. It's the invisible walls, man. If you see water, please let us walk and swim through the water.
Especially if you got big, floppy, hairy feet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which you do, by the way.
Thanks, bud. I'm going to give this game an 8.5 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 7.5.
Here's a recap on our reviews, including scores from Electronic Gaming Monthly and Computer Gaming World. Visit our website at www.electplay.com, or if you're mobile, wap.electplay.com. Production assistance for Electric Playground is provided by Sony, publishers of SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs for PlayStation 2, and Xbox, publishers of Quantum Redshift for the Xbox.
One of my... What's that doing? One of my favorite games of the 80s. It's called...
This classic episode of the Electric Playground was brought to you by P&P Games, your source for everything video games. Support the partners that support the Electric Playground. Thanks for watching, and play forever.